Welcome back to Cards and Comics, guys. Today I have a very special box from the 90s, one that is sort of infamous in terms of hobby lore, and it's 94 Finest. So 94 Finest had the dubious responsibility to follow probably one of the most innovative and highly collected sets of the 90s, probably changed the hobby history, if you want to put it that way, which is 93 Finest. 93 Finest was a product that had tons of innovation. It introduced chrome technology and introduced refractors. It just basically turned the hobby on its head. It was also hard to find. It was limited in production, and it made people go nuts trying to find the refractors, trying to just find a pack of cards. It was really hard. It was like, the hobby really responded to the limited edition and the cool parallel that no one had ever seen before. Now, let's fast forward a year later. Obviously, this set, 94 Finest, was highly anticipated. People really wanted this set. I remember it like it was yesterday, sitting at the local card store in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and asking, when is it going to come out? When is it going to come out? What does it look like? Have you got any previews? Like, everybody really wanted the set to do well. But Topps did the classic mistakes that doom a lot of these sets and is basically a 101 on what not to do when making a follow-up set or just making sets in general. First of all, the design was pretty lazy and pretty terrible for a lot of people. They took the green cards of 93 Finest. You had the silver and the greens. People liked the green cards. Also, the green cards had most of the better players. And they said, we're going to go all in on green. And so they made the entire set, including the subsets, green. So you had a clear in 93, you had two different color patterns. And, and you had this idea, like you had those subset cards were special. In 94, the subset cards don't look that special. They look very similar. I mean, you could point to all the differences in the oval and all that stuff, but it's just, they're green. They weren't a different color. Could you imagine today if the 94 Finest set had, let's say, red as the border for the subsets, or blue, or something that really would have stood out and shown a lot better than green did? Green had a problem, which you have greening on these cards anyway. It's not as shiny as some other colors, right? And I think that in the 93 Finest refractors just look different than 94. They just don't have the same shine. A lot of people really did not think the cards were as nice. And then they did something even worse, is they turned a one series set into a 2 series set, split up all the stars. So you had Thomas in Series 1, Griffey in Series 2, and, and just milked it for all it's worth. They printed it into oblivion. This product was so heavily printed. I remember when Series 2 came out, no one in my area even cared because so much of Series 1 was still on the shelf. There was cases of it. Most LCSs started to, basically discount it heavily and still couldn't sell it. And then Series 2 hit. Even though Series 2 has Griffey, it just didn't move the needle as much as it needed to be. And for years and decades, like a decade or two after this set came out, this was one of the cheaper boxes you could buy. 94 Finest. I remember buying it $80, $60, You could get a box that's pretty cheap because reality was no one really liked the product even then. And over time, has our view softened? I would say yes, to some extent. The refractors are 1 in 9 packs, so you get 2 to 3 refractors in a box. There's 220 cards in a series. It's hard to pull a good refractor out of a box. Series 2 has Griffey, Bonds, Cal Ripken, Ricky Henderson. It has Bo Jackson. So it has a lot of good Hall of Famer and a lot of good players. Don Mattingly's in the set. So that makes it pretty fun, but again, they just don't have the same eye appeal. Now, recently a PSA 10 Griffey refractor sold over $2,000. The 9 sold for like $600 or $800, in that range. So the Griffey does sell well, but if you take it past Griffey, even the Barry Bond sells for like $200. Bo Jackson like 100, 150 bucks. So there's not a lot of really high dollar cards still to this day compared to 93. Also, the price has gone up. Just like all 90s cards, people have made this set a lot more expensive. Sorry, my AC just kicked on down in the basement, guys. So we're gonna open this box. It is a clean box. It obviously came from a fresh case. This is as clean a box as you'll ever find. So I'm excited the fact that when you open this product, in general, you're going to find, because I believe Finest still at this point was only hobby. I'm not sure there was a retail at this point. I don't think there was. And so a lot of this stuff was just, excess stock. And if you can find a dealer that has this stuff sitting in their back room still, you can get good condition boxes. And so hopefully that means we won't see stickiness, greening, the kind of really ugly stuff you see sometimes in Chrome and Finest products. So here we go. We get the box topper out of the way. We got Jack McDowell. This is what I'm saying about this was the subset card, guys. So that's what they looked like. They had this little circle pattern, a little kind of light thing on the back, but they did not look that different than the regular base cards. And I think that's really what did the design in, was you had two kinds of cards and they looked both the same. So there was no real, no differences between those cards. So we'll pull the packs out so we can get rid of the box. And let's see who's on the front here. I'm trying to figure out who that is. It's a Met. I'm not sure who that is. It's not Dorniez, is it? Ray Dorniez? Because he came out later, right? I don't know who that is on the cover there. It's an interesting mystery, because I don't know who that would be on as a Met, because it isn't because Piazza was in 93. I'm not sure it's Piazza. So here we go. Sticky note, no stickiness. I didn't hear any squeaking. So here we go, 2 to 3 refractors in a box. Hopefully we get the Griffey base cards, and they're all flipped around. So here's the base. J Bell, a good pirate, and they are a tiny bit sticky. So we'll just go through them. Carl Rhodes, who went to Japan and was like a stud. Bob Butler. Here's Damian Easley, and they're a little sticky, so this might make the video a little bit more, a little stickier than I'd like them to be. Damian Easley, Pedro Munoz, Salomon Torres, and again, we can see the two different cards here. Marvin Freeman. So that's the two different cards. So you got the base card, and this is the subset card. There is rumors out there that the subsets were printed like 20%, 25% less than the regular base set. There's no real way to verify that. I don't think anyone really cares enough to really verify it honestly. But there you go. That's the two cards. And you can see they just don't look that different enough for people, I think, to really chase and care about those cards as much as they thought they would. I think Topps just did that whole classic, like, green. Everyone loved green, so let's just make the whole set green. And and we're here, and then it didn't work out. So here we go. John Kruk. And I don't think you can tell which pack has the refractor like you're supposed to be able to do in 93. So pull down a little bit. Here we go. All right, Ray Sanchez. And this is another good thing. Like you can see here, this Ray Sanchez. See how it kind of has almost like a double struck, kind of. It doesn't look very, like, it looks a little out of focus. Rick White. I don't even remember Rick White. And he's a pirate. I don't even remember him. There we go. This card is actually really stuck. All right. So we got Chris Bozio, Dwayne Ward, John Olerud, and Danny Tartabull. So again, 2 to 3 refractors. It's a lot of shots, and there's 2 or 3 shots at a really cool refractor. I mean, there's also 200 plus cards you probably don't want to get. And that's kind of what makes this product tough. Now, you want to just get the right level. Like, you want to get the refractors you're supposed to. You want to get the 2 to 3. I've had so many products I've opened where I don't even get the 2 to 3. That's really disappointing. Here's Ricky Henderson. Is it a refractor? Nope. That's a cool card. I'm going to set that aside. It's just like, Ricky's cool. There we go. Yeah, this is like stickier than I would like. Oh, there's a refractor. First refractor. Alright, and it is Rondell White. Now, I did say before that they weren't as shiny. And that was sort of the criticism, but they're pretty shiny. I mean, that's the thing about it. It's like the 93 have, I think, a little more etching evidence on them. But 94 were still pretty shiny. You got to remember, like, you know, they were pretty shiny all the way up until around 90, you know, probably around 2001, 2002, and then they kind of started to do that, you know, getting rid of the etching, getting rid of some of the things that made the cards look cool. And here we go. So Rondell White's, okay, it's our first one. Hey, look, you know, we got a couple shots here, and I mean, he's at least a good player, right? Right, Rondell White was at least a pretty good player. So it's not like we're pulling, you know, like John Doherty or Eric Pappas here. Doug Henry. I mean, think about it. We could have got any of these guys, right? I still think that would have been a lot worse. Rondell White actually was a pretty good player. But yeah, it's a tough set to pull anything cool out of. Yeah, everything is so flip, man. Ricky Benez is frustrating. It's so frustrating. I'm already frustrated trying to open it because everything's flipped every other way. Here we go. Lee Smith, that's a Hall of Famer right there. Roberto Hernandez. Yeah, like I said. And the refractor was one of the cards that was hard to pull apart, so I don't want to just rip these apart because I don't want to damage any potential refractor. But Mitch Williams, Brian Hunter, Delgado, and then Mariano Duncan. All right, now that the AC's turned off, hopefully we have a little quieter opening here. Sorry about that, guys. It's tough to be in the basement sometimes. Here we go. Gene Harris. Here's a name I haven't thought of in a long time. Real Cormier. I grew up listening to a lot of Cardinals games. Bobby Bonilla as a Met. I was gonna say Bobby Bonilla would have been actually made sense on that pack, but that's not Bobby Bonilla. Bob Gullickson, Kelly Sinet, and again, look at the names. Like, it's hard. I mean, I know I'm pulling up, but it's like everything's blurry. Like, there's almost like a double struckness to them. I don't know. The cards just look weird. Like they had a manufacturing issue and then they just didn't fix it. Like, the cards could have been a little bit, like, especially the names are just really weird. Like when you see them in person, like they look like they were supposed to be kind of 3D, but they just didn't come out clear. So yeah, not a big fan of the design. I think it's just one of those things too. Like when you've got a product that, you know, this was expensive back in, even in 94. You got to remember, like, when this first came out, the dealers were charging an arm and a leg for it. You know, like, this was something that you would see these guys really try and, get their money with, and so this is definitely a product where, there's Todd Hundley. You can see this is like a product where you can tell, like, that they were really, going to upcharge it, because every dealer at least I went to, was when it first hit was really expensive on it, and then as reality set in, it just didn't, Bob Wickman, it just didn't go the way that everyone thought it was going to go. And it was very disappointing, honestly, to see a product that was so beloved one year be printed into oblivion. 2 series, so you couldn't even get all the stars in one series. I mean, it's just, they did everything in their power to ruin the product, honestly. And that's one of those things where you just go like, why would they do that? Well, I mean, they were trying to make money. I mean, that's all there is to it. This hobby's always been about money, and that's how it goes. Kevin Brown. There is James Mouton and Felix Fermin. So we haven't pulled a base Griffey yet, or Bonds, or a Cal Ripken. So, we pulled a rookie, which is cool, a base card. But this is my experience with Finest too, is like poor correlation. Go back to my 95 Finest video where I'm pulling the same pack over and over and over. It's just a little frustrating. Sandy Alomar, that's a good photo. That's a nice card. Billy Ripken as a Ranger. I don't remember that. He didn't have the greatest career, but Kevin Young. And again, this card, when you see it in person, it looks weird. Like, it just looks like it's out of focus. The name, it's just, these cards don't look premium. Alex Cole, even for the technology. Like, the thing is this is brand new stuff. Or sorry, this isn't brand new stuff. This is the second year we have seen this product. This is Barry Larkin, which I really like Barry Larkin, so I'll put him there. So it's just like, just the disappointment of opening this product again just comes back to me, is like, as fun and cool as 93 was to open, this product was just like, everything about it was just like, oh, really? It looks poorly made and kind of ugly, and why has it got this weird green striping on the sides? I mean, it's just like, nothing about it's clean. If it was just solid green, I think that would have even been better. It's just not. Nothing about this product screams high end. And the fact that you had to get 2 series, so you had to pay basically double to try to put the set together. You had to buy 2 series instead of 1. They just really made it hard for collectors, this product, to really do something that to collect it, yeah. And then every card right in the middle, it's the same 2 cards every time. Now where we hit double, so that's Bozio, so that's the second one of him we've had. So Terry Mulholland. So yeah, I mean, it's like, you take that into account, and I can see, and think about this, like, I was a kid, so like, I'm really like, man, this is going to be the best set ever. And secondary market on this product was terrible too. Like, even when you'd pull a refractor, or since they were kind of ugly and the product tanked so bad that you couldn't really do much with the cards. You were like, oh, well, I pulled a cool refractor, and they're like, oh, it's from 94 Finest, no one cares. And the thing is that's even more disheartening is right, Kelly. Here's Cal Ripken. That's a cool card. I like that one quite a bit. So we have pulled a few players. Harold Baines, Hall of Famer. That in 95, the 95 set design is everything. It's got green in it too, right? But it's got such a well-designed set. In general, everyone loves 95 Finest in terms of the set design. And I honestly think 95 Finest on its own, not taking into account rarity or anything like that, is probably the best design set of the 90s up until Finest, up until 97. And, but again, you get to 96 and 97, they're like different beasts. Like they changed the game in 96. So like 93, 94, 95, I'd rank him 93, 95, 94, but 95 is a really nice looking product. Here's Manny Ramirez. It is a very, very nice looking product. Um, so, and then I would rank 95 over 98. And then 99, I like 99, but the base cards in 95 are better than 99. Obviously, you got the gold in 99 that puts it, in terms of just collectability, over the top. But, if you just had to go base card to base card, and the 3 subsets don't really help the 99 set, honestly. So I'd say, it's probably the second or third best designed 90s finest set out there is 95. So that's the thing about it too, is right after 94 came out, they did 95 and they went yeah, we're gonna make probably one of the best designed 90s refractor sets ever made. And there's Craig Biggio, Hall of Famer, Alex Cole, Fred McGriff. So yeah, 2 Hall of Famers in that pack. So it was also, again, it's well, we can make cards that look nice. We just chose not to in 94. And it's this set's like the anomaly, right? I mean, a lot of companies did weird things, back in those days, in the 80s and 90s, inexplicably make a set that's just really weird and ugly. Or just come out with a design that no one understands, another refractor, why you did that or whatever. It happens, man. It's car companies, I don't think they really did a lot of test marketing, honestly. They just kind of developed something, came up with a design, and kind of put it out there. And if it didn't do well, they were like, oh, well, we'll just do something different next year, right? I don't think they really cared as much as they do today. Ray Langford, and here we go, Bob Scanlon. Oh, man. That's a rough one. Like I said, this is what's tough about this product, man. And that's why the 90s are a harsh mistress, man. I've said this in some of my, people kind of commenting and about box breaks, it was rough. Yeah. This is how 90s was. 90s not for the faint of heart. It's going to a college that will flunk you out. It's yeah, you can, go to some colleges and they'll just pass you, and you go to some colleges and you're out the door, if you don't go to class or you don't do well on the test. 90s isn't going to give you a refractor or a insert per pack, and the sets that did that, I think Ultra did that a few times. No one cares about those products. It's the stuff that's cool in the 90s is hard to get. It's hard to get because it was freaking hard to get. You can't just open a box and always expect to get it, a hit or two. That is not going to happen in the 90s. It's they're tougher reason. The rare stuff is rare because it was hard to get. And, I know there's a lot of folks, Ramon Martinez, a lot of folks are trying to go back and really figure out how rare some stuff was. I know how rare, the unnumbered stuff, artist proofs and some of these insert sets that, you don't really know how, like the established set out of, on Mystique. How rare are those cards, right? It's just there's a lot of work being done to kind of quantify it. But in general, open up 5 or 10 boxes of those products and you will find how rare they are. There's a Bo Jackson. That's a cool card. They're hard. They're hard for... No, we overhit our refractor load. We hit Jody Reed. So we overdid it on the refractors. We got 3 when we should have got Canseco as a Ranger. When we should have got just 2. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance basically of getting into the 3rd. So, we overdid the odds a little bit, which is fine. I'm cool with it, getting that 3rd refractor. It's just, I would love to have hit either another minor store or, my goal whenever I'm opening these products is a Hall of Famer. I don't care who it is. If it's Andre Dawson, Don Mattingly, or whatever, it's just a Hall of Famer, Darryl Kyle, not Darryl Kyle, but just that would have been cool. So, Barry Larkin would have been awesome, So it's just how it is. We got more packs to go. Look, collation wasn't good in the 90s. So maybe we hit a 4th refractor out of this box. Who knows? Maybe it'll make it for that 95 box. I had none, which was still disappointing for me today to open up a whole 95 finest box and get no refractors. You know, the one thing that you're opening the whole product for, to get none. And, you know, but that's the thing. It's like, you know, that happened. Collation was terrible. Like, you know, hey, there's Tom Glavine. Very young looking. That's, you know, and it's, I know I'm saying that's what happened, but it's just like, you know, it was like kind of just about the 90s. It's like collation was sucked. Centering sometimes. You could have a whole box. Go back to look at my 95 finest box that I got the Jeter in. And literally the entire box for the most part is like, you know, 80-20. Chris Sabo as an Oriole. Pretty cool. That would have been a cool refractor to hit because I have a buddy who collects Sabo, and that would have been fun to give to him because I would just give him the card. Mark Grace, that would have been another good one to hit. He's got a pretty good fan club. Javi Lopez and Fernando Vina. It could have been Vina on the front. I think, is it Vina? Is it this guy? I'm still trying to figure out who that guy is. Like, who is this guy? Who's this Met that's on the right? Is it Vina? Yeah, it's a mystery, shrouded in a mystery. So Arthur Rhodes, man, I remember that guy throwing at everyone. That guy. Tom Gordon. There's Don Mattingly. Look at that. Wouldn't that be cool if this is a refractor? And Ellis Burks. Wouldn't that be cool if one of these two guys is a refractor? And they are. Neither one of them are. That would have been cool. Paul Molitor. See, like, this pack would have been amazing to get a refractor of any of those guys. So here we go, guys. Hopefully, root me on to try to get the 4th. And again, we've kind of overhit already, so I'm not sure the 4th is in the cards, but, you know, I'd like to just try. You know, Trevor Hoffman, again, that would have been a cool one to hit. All right. Ricky Jordan, that guy. Another guy that was supposed to be really good, Mickey Morandini. It's just funny how these two cards in every pack, these two cards right here, are stuck together in every pack. The only cards really stuck in this whole product is, you know, Mickey Morandini. And there's Lenny Dykstra. Oh, man, the stories about this guy, Mike McFarlane, pretty legendary. You know, like, he wouldn't come back to, like, I think, do a documentary or do stuff with the team unless he got like a bunch of money. You know, I think both for the Mets and for the Phillies, it's just this guy. He is a character. Todd Zeal. John Burkett. All right. This pack would not have been the pack to pull a cool card out of because it's pretty terrible. Yeah, Brian Hunter. I guess Pat Hankin's not terrible. I want to say that. Spike Owen. All right, so I don't have a base Griffey, so let's look for a base Griffey, right? That would be fun because I don't have a base Griffey. I did pull the Ripken. I don't have a Bonds either, so hopefully I can hit a Bonds and a Griffey in the last couple packs. Even if I don't hit another refractor, I always love to pull the base cards of the big guys just to have them. And again, you know, pulling sets out of these boxes was so hard. You know, I'm sure it drove stores crazy trying to collate sets during this time period. All right, Cal Eldred, move on. Pretty good player. Scott Rifcorn and Steve Avery. So some pretty good minor stars there, or like, you know, former All-Stars right there. Steve Avery, he doesn't probably get enough credit for how good those Braves were. Kevin Seitzer, this guy was a stud too. Like, he had a lot of good years. Seitzer did. Dean Jackson, Omar Vizquel. What's going on, Omar? You've been a cool refractor to pull. Are you ever going to make the Hall of Fame? I'm not sure. Feels like the momentum is fading on you. Greg Olson, Tim Bulgar, Carlos Baerga, and Eric Karros. 2 packs left. One's going to be Bonds and one's going to be Griffey. That's how it's going to go, guys. Because it looks like you only get one of those special cards in a pack. So we're going to have to hit one each here. Andy Van Slyke, one of the best cards in the whole set. He was like one of my favorite players. I rooted for Van Slyke a lot as a kid. He was a left-handed guy. I just remember I love watching him bat. Scott Brocious. Here we go. No refractor. Got Lou Whitaker. Alex Gonzalez. Not a Griffey. And Santiago. See, this guy looks kind of like the guy here. Maybe not. I don't know who that guy is. Who is that guy? He's got a 6 in his number. Someone in the comments will leave me and be very snarky about it. That's fine. Be very snarky. Because I don't know who that guy is. It just shows you, too. It's hard to tell by faces. You know, like when you don't have someone's number on the back or, you know, like we don't. It's hard for me to tell from just a 90s photo. There's Rick Aguilera. You know who someone is. Sean Dunston. He was a good player. Didn't he want a gold glove or something like that? I don't know. All right. Here we go. Sean Dunston. Mickey Tilton. Cliff Floyd. Oh. Bernie Williams. That'd been a cool one to hit. But, Cliff Floyd. All right. Well, some of the better ones we hit. I mean, we got the Mattingly, the Bo Jackson, which I have this refractor, by the way. I picked it up in Indy a couple years ago. And I'm just glad I did because I think and another reason why I'm, open these boxes, and it's a lot of fun, but it's just like, these refractors are hard to pull and you just start seeing them kind of go away. Some of these are going to just get locked up in collections, and there's not thousands of them. There's hundreds of them, but not thousands. Cal Ripken, Barry Larkin, and Ricky Henderson. And again, I would have loved to pull this refractor because Ricky, I'm going to do a video about it, but he was kind of screwed over on refractors. In terms of like how many sets that he should have been in that he wasn't. That's going to be a point of a new video I'm going to be putting out. But here is a 3 refractor they pull. Jody Reed of the Brewers. Okay. And I was wondering, do they say refractor on the back? Because back, nothing so the backs don't signify refractor. Okay. There is Bob Scanlon. And it is it's way off center. I think we're going to look at this one. Yeah, this one's a little better centered. It's not perfect. And then we've got the Rondell White. And I can't really tell. It's hard to judge these centerings, but I think it's a lot better. And again, Rondell White by far was the best player of the 3 I'm showing you here. So, not like, amazing, but fun. And this is just the product. So, I open these products just hoping to hit a Hall of Famer if I can. And if I don't, at least I want to pull a base of Griffey. There's no Thomas in this series too, or Bonds. I didn't do that either. So in all rolled up here, I'd say like disappointing, but not surprising because this set is tough. This product is tough. Now, if I can find these, I would love to find like 5 boxes of this product and just rip 5 boxes to try to get something cool, do some sort of like special rip of 94 Finest or something like a cheaper 90s product that has a chance of something cool. This product is a great example of no one really is ripping this in bulk, but it'd be fun to see if I can get it cheap enough to do that. So, but let me know what you think in the comments. And, it was fun, but it's definitely very, very typical of what you're going to find opening a product like this. So, hope to see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.